try. Do you know I'm looking, and I can't help but smile.
After 3 months of waiting, I finally have kitchen countertops. Kitchen repairs, kitchen remodels, kitchen renovations are a nightmare, you guys. When you're living in the home and you have a large family to feed and you homeschool and your kids are there all the time, oh my gosh, I am so glad that this part of our home is finished. Now that it's all over and behind me, I can honestly say it was definitely grueling at times, but it's done, it's over with, and it turned out absolutely stunning, as you can see. I would have been perfectly happy with laminate countertops. My husband wanted something more durable that would last, that we wouldn't have to replace anytime soon. You guys, this is like a heavenly dream kitchen. I never thought I would have a kitchen like this. We've had a lot of work to do to this kitchen though. The kitchen needed new cabinets, which we actually had not intended to replace anytime soon. It just so happened that our local craft-made dealer was needing to update the show kitchen. So he needed to move the cabinets out and put in some new cabinets, which meant we were able to get this kitchen, most of the cabinets in here, at a massive discount. Some of the cabinets needed a little bit of repair, and we had to order some cabinets because there weren't quite enough kitchen cabinets to go all the way around. So a couple of the pieces don't quite match up, but you would really have to look closely to see that they don't match up, because unless I point it out, you won't notice. Now that our homestead kitchen is relatively finished, we still have the island to do. We also have the flooring to finish, but now that all the cabinets are installed in place, the cabinet tops are on, I thought it would be really fun to take you guys on a little tour of the kitchen and show you how we organized it. Family kitchens can be really crazy, you guys. If you guys have a family, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When you are sharing a kitchen with a group of people, you know that oftentimes things are not always put back in the same places. I have had it take up to 2 extra hours preparing a meal before, simply because things weren't put in the right places and it took me a long time to hunt down what I was looking for, meaning the meal took much longer to prepare than it should have. Kitchen organization is essential when you have a large group of people you're cooking for though. For years, I have been trying this and trying that, trying to figure out the best way to organize our kitchen, but not only that, how to organize the kitchen in a way that would make sense to the family as well. So I'm going to give you some of my best tips for organizing a kitchen for families. And these tips aren't just going to be to have the kitchen organized for a family, but to keep it organized for your family. One of the biggest things that we have found in our family to help keep the kitchen organized is to label where things go. So if you have children that are helping with chores that cannot read, this tip is not going to be so helpful. You could just draw a little picture of what goes where. If you have children that are unloading the dishwasher or helping put dishes away and you want them to know where things go. But labels are a really great way that we have found to keep the kitchen organized and efficient. Pictures are another great way, especially if you have younger children that want to help in the kitchen but can't read. So if you organize an area, take a picture of it, keep the picture in that area so that when the kids are putting things away, they can see what goes where. Having a kitchen day at least every month, but preferably a couple times a month, is another really great way to stay on top of keeping the kitchen organized. And I got this tip from another big family mama who was homeschooling and raised 9 children. This tip came from a book that I will link to below. In that book, the mother talked about how she had a kitchen day every week. I find that for us, life is far too busy for me to assign or designate a specific day of the week to kitchen day. So we just kind of get it in when we can. And I find that if I don't have a nice kitchen day at least twice a month, it starts to become a little bit too disorganized to really be able to function in the kitchen. But one of the final tips that I will give you before I take you around for a little kitchen tour is simply to consistently teach your children why the kitchen needs to be organized and consistently teach them where things need to go and how it should be. So today in this video, what I'm going to be doing with my children, just to give you an example of what I'm talking about, is we have gone through once a few days ago after I got the kitchen completely the way I wanted it. it. I know there's going to be a few spaces that will need to be changed still, but after I got the kitchen the way that I wanted it, I had all of the children come in, from my oldest, who's actually an adult now, to my youngest, who is 4. And of course the 4-year-old didn't stick around for the whole thing, but the next oldest child at 7 did. Anyways, we went around the entire kitchen and I showed everybody where everything was, where I had chose to put everything and why I chose to put it there, because that's an important piece that I think a lot of families disconnect on when it comes to kitchen organization. It can be really helpful if you explain, though, the reasoning of why you put certain things where you chose to put them. So what I decided to do is, since I am already going to be doing this kitchen tour video for you, I am inviting my children in as well, and we are all going to go through this kitchen together. We're going to start on one side of the kitchen and just work our way around. This whole area here is our baking area. So what I've done is I've just organized things for baking. It's got honey, it's got cinnamon, it's got all of the things for baking, vanilla, nutmeg, all kinds of baking items. So basically ingredients are what are in this drawer. Down here we have the sifter, the flour sifter. I have our old flour mill. We have the juicer, we have our meat grinder for when we go to make sausages again, and I have a rolling pin. This is our silverware drawer. It's closest to the kitchen. Eventually, the silverware drawer will go on the island. Down here is one of my favorite cabinets. It utilizes so much space that would have otherwise been wasted. So here we have in the very back things we don't use very often. So these are for making taco salad shells or taco salad bowls. And we have a bread pan down here. We have some casserole dishes, and down on the bottom we have measuring cups. Check it out, guys. Look what we have space to spare. We have never had space to spare in a kitchen before, ever. This is a first. So awesome. And then back on the bottom back here, we have the pie pan in the back since we don't use it very often. And then we have other casserole pans that we don't use very often on the bottom. Here is the drawer that is handy for baking. We have more baking items. So we have, this is, I don't even know what this thing is called. It's from Pampered Chef, and it's for when we roll things out. So if we don't want to get the counters messy, we can use this to roll things like pie shells out and cinnamon rolls and things like that. We have KitchenAid attachments here. The scale goes right here. Our little countertop sweepers are in here. I've got one pair of scissors here, the candy thermometer. This thing is to clean out the flour grinder. And then we have brushes in here, cookie scoops. We have, this is our little grater for grating lemons and nutmeg for recipes. We have frosting spreaders in here as well. That's what goes in here, frosting spreaders and cake cutters. Shot glasses are right here for, again, more measuring. The measuring spoons are right here. The other measuring spoons, the spare ones, are back here. We have all the measuring cups in here. A bunch of these measuring cups won't be here in a couple days because I will be putting them inside the containers that are down below here. In this cabinet, I purchased these. Now, if you're really hard on these, they could probably be broken, so be careful with them, but they're fairly sturdy. These edges, if you're really rough on them, they could potentially wear down and come off, I think. I have not had it happen, but as you can see, I'm going to take all those measuring cups and be putting them inside of all of these. Some of them already have measuring cups. But this is all the bulk foods. We have wheat down here, we have flour, we have rice, lots of rice. We have sugar down here. And up on the top shelf, so we have our cookie sheets and our muffin pans. Here are the bulk of our bread pans. They go in here. And then down over here, we have the broiling pans and the cooling racks, all of the cooling racks. We only have 2 of these drawers, these toe kick drawers, in the top drawer right next to the stove. I have things that you need quickly when you're cooking. We don't have all of our, kitchen utensils here. We only have the things that you kind of need when you're in a hurry. Like, oh no, this is burning or that's burning and I need something to stir it with. So we have spatulas, we have flippers in here and tongs. And then I have just one whisk goes in here, just one whisk, not all of the whisks. If we put all of the whisks in here, the drawer drawer will get jammed and we won't be able to open it. The other thing that goes in here is a thermometer, because I usually, when I need this, I don't have a lot of time before something is going to get overcooked. So I don't like to have to hunt for it. So it stays here where it's easy to find. And then of course, if you need to get something out of the oven, you need these in a hurry. So these are right here where they can always be found in a hurry. In this drawer, right underneath the top one right here, next to the stove again, we have the other things that we need generally when we're cooking, but there's also just a bunch of little kitchen gadgets in here. Pretty deep drawer, so it's going to be easy to kind of rummage around in, but it's where the majority of the kitchen accessories are, okay? So you can see we've got the garlic mincers, we've got spoons, potato masher, we've got a strainer, just all kinds of oddities in here. These are just spices. I like to have the spices right next to the stove. Down there is where I have the Pampered Chef muffin pan. Here we have cookie sheets that are used all the time. So these are our Pampered Chef cookie sheets. We have, I don't know, what is that thing called? It's like a, what is that thing called? Yeah, a splatter guard thing. But again, just more cookie sheets. All of the Pampered Chef cookie sheets, the heavy ones, all go in here, and the stainless steel ones. Okay, down here we have the large saucepans. All the really big pans go in here, and the lids, okay? So these are, you know, all of our stock pots and everything. We have some spare jars in here, not very many, because that's not where I really want to keep the spare jars. Again, there's a lot of space in here that we still have. This is a fun drawer. We have things that we use. I thought that right here would be a nice place to put food away. So when we're putting food away, we have a nice whole working spot up here. So if we've got leftovers and we need to wrap them up and get them put in the fridge, all of the stuff that you will need for that is right here. Label stuff. You've got all kinds of labeling items, from little chalkboard labels to tape. We have foil, plastic wrap, the label makers in here. I have one more pair of scissors in here because I really hate hunting for scissors. We have openers, so wine opener, can openers, peelers. See where the peelers are, kids? They're all right there. And then back here we have markers for labeling. The scissors, we have things to close bags, so clothespins. I have rubber bands. We have some of the zwilling things in here as well. I don't know what these are. Does anybody know what these are? What are these things? Does anybody know what they go to? I cannot remember. I know I'm gonna feel silly when I do remember finally. Jars. Again, for putting food away. I got funnels to go with them too, because we use funnels and jars together. I have some salad dressing containers down here, and Daddy's lunch container for salad. This drawer down here is, I'm all the time in this drawer. This is where our big bowls are for mixing things. And I do have some casserole pans. Let's take those out. I don't want those down there. Let's go put those over with the rest of the casserole pans in that empty spot over there. We'll find something else to put down here. I love this little cabinet. This is actually a tool chest, or a tool cart, a rolling tool cart. In the tool cart we have oatmeal and apple cider vinegar. All the vinegars are down here. And then we have flour, tapioca flour, but it's mainly vinegar and oatmeal because it just seems like a good place to put them. In these drawers over here we have our zwilling, what is that thing called? The immersion blender, the hand blender, children's chopping knife. Food processor accessories are in this drawer, along with other chopping and grating accessories. And that is a gift. It's a bread lame I accidentally ordered 2 of. It's a gift for, I'm gonna give it to somebody. And in the bottom drawer we have, it looks a little messy. It's a little more organized than it looks, sort of, I guess. We've got our sandwich bags and storage bags down here, zwilling bags, and I have a thermos down here and my good apron for when company comes, or for when I'm doing a YouTube video. This is magnetic, so we can put our hooks on it. We can keep all of our towels here to dry. Since it's metal, it won't become damaged like it would if we were hanging wet towels up against wood, something that was wooden. Under the sink, it's very generic. I do keep anything liquid inside of tubs though, in case there was ever a leak. And I compartmentalize certain things so I can take it all out, and like everything in here is stuff that's used to clean the kitchen. When we are cleaning the kitchen, we can take the whole bin right there out and set it aside, and that way we don't have to keep getting underneath the cabinet every time we need to get something to clean the kitchen with. Tea. All of our tea is in here. Most all of our tea. We love tea around here, so we've got all of our tea fixings in here. Of course, you know where the trash cans are. We have one for things that we can recycle back there or burn, and then this is things that have to go in the regular trash. For the first time in forever, kids, look at this. For the first time ever, we have a junk drawer. We have never had a kitchen big enough or that had space enough or enough drawers to have a junk drawer, but we have a junk drawer for the first time. I'm keeping all of the towels used for washing dishes as close as possible to the sink. So we have towels in this drawer and the one underneath. There's one last space I forgot to mention over here, and it's the cart. Who wants to pull this cart out for me? This is our spice cart. So we have all kinds of spices needed for cooking, and we can pull it out anytime we need it. There are some teas in here. This one right here is tea. This area over here is super fun. I think it just looks neat. I like how homey it looks and inviting. So we got all of my cookbooks are here. Underneath we have gallon jars. I have coffee down here. This basket is just for spare things. So right now I have paper bowls in there, and we also have paper egg cartons right above. Thank you for blocking that bright sunlight, kiddo. We have onions, all of our onions, and then down here we have potatoes. I have a spare basket just to toss things in. More gallons and jars, and we have our wooden bowls over here. On top of the fridge, that's where all of our wooden bowls go, the big wooden bowls. See those wooden bowls up there, kids? So you littler kids won't be able to put those away, so just set them on the counter, and one of the bigger kids or mommy will put them away when we need to do that. Do you see where the white bowl is? We have our white mixing bowl up here. Most of the cast iron pans and anything copper. See how I have our copper things hanging above the stove because they're pretty? We have the big, huge cast iron stock pot is up there. One more tea. We have, see where the oils are? Let's keep the oils up there. And then I have the other mixing bowl on the other side. I like to keep anything wooden and everything that has a wooden handle over here because I just love the look of the wood. So all of the wooden utensils go in here, and then here is where we're gonna keep the eggshell bin. So this is for eggshells, and we're gonna take the eggshells when it gets full, we can smash them down and keep putting more in until it's too full, and then they can go out on the garden, or we can put them in the stove and burn them, or we can powder them up and give them back to the chickens. And then over here we have salts. So the salt that's in the bottom is for soups, it's Celtic salt, and on the top we have regular salt. Here I have my little sushi plates and the sushi dip. I like to keep those on display because I think they're pretty. The candle's there for when the power goes out, and then over here in this corner, I put the round turntable that my husband made, the little spice jars that I've been collecting up here with the spices in them. We have canned goods, including salsa. We have Victoria salsa and we have regular salsa. We have peaches and pickles on these shelves in both corners of the kitchen. Okay, so right here's the coffee. Here we have collagen. Mommy's little glasses go right up here. And then we have, what do I have in here? Oh, tea. I put the Bengal spice tea in here. That's my oldest daughter's favorite. So it goes out here, easy to reach for her. And then we have the bowls, our more special occasion bowls, or the bowls that are for the adults and the bigger kids. These are way too big for the smaller kids. The coffee canister, what is this thing called? Our coffee maker is up here. And then I have more casserole pans that are pretty, candles for when the power goes out, and salad dressing mixes are up here. We have ranch salad dressing up there. This is Brazil nuts. They're mainly for mommy. I have just some random dishes up here. I have this platter back here, mainly just for looks and to reflect some light. These pie pans are up here. I had these pie pans specially made. I had them custom made because I love pottery and I like to collect pottery. As you can see, I've got these collections going. My oldest daughter just informed me that that looks like an urn. Here we have our makeshift island, and this thing is something that, oh my gosh, I think this is probably our favorite thing as a family in the whole kitchen. This means no more constantly reorganizing containers and trying to fit them into a designated drawer or space. This huge, huge basket used to be our laundry hamper, but it wasn't working out in the laundry room. So we brought it in here, slid it under the island. Someday I'm gonna have a big island made, custom made. My husband's gonna make one because he builds cabinets when he has a space to do them. He doesn't have a space to do them right now. But when he does make us an island someday, this thing is going to be going in the future island as well. And then under here, it's messy, and I'm not even gonna show you guys all of this. This is just where a few things get tossed, like the Instant Pot and the food processor. Something I love that brought so much order to our kitchen is having this, but this made it so much more organized in our kitchen. We can hang towels here to dry, like our Norwex cloths. We can put all of our dustpans in our whisk rooms here, and then we never have to look for them because we always know where they are, and that has been really nice. For 13 years, I had very hodgepodge, very just kind of pieced together situations in my kitchens. Our kitchen in town was the nicest kitchen we have ever had. However, it was small and it became increasingly difficult to use because we are a large family. There was never quite enough storage space in that kitchen, and meals were taking a lot longer than they needed to. The kitchen was one of the reasons I was happy selling the home and moving to another home. When I saw this massive kitchen, I was instantly sold on the home. My childhood was kind of rough and traumatic at times, and I did not have the greatest childhood, but I did have moments in my childhood that were extremely special. And one of the special times in my childhood was with two friends, and we used to travel around in the forests and find old mines that had rocks that looked just like what these countertops look like. And that was one of the high spots of my childhood, was searching for precious rocks that had sparkles in them, kind of like this countertop has. I love that these countertops are from nature and literally from the heart of a mountain. All my life I've loved cooking and always wanted a pretty kitchen, and I just felt like God heard my desires in that area, and even though I'm in my 40s now, see my longing and grant me that desire of my heart that I had had. What is this thing called? It's not a hanger. I don't know what it's called. It's not a pegboard, but these are pegs. It's a peg. I don't know what this thing's called even.